Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we have our July recap episode celebrating all the episodes that aired in July. So today you will hear from Ben and Alizon from Calva Louise, Audrey from IANWILL, RJ from Drought, Max and Lukas from THROATCUT, and Devan from Scalp. Also in July, I did do a solo episode covering my favorite releases of 2025 so far, but that is not included in this recap as I want to focus on the interviews. You can find my best so far episode at asthestorygrows.com or wherever you get your podcast, and the full interviews for each one of these clips is available now. So if you like what you hear, interested in checking out a band, and you haven't listened already, go check it out. Thanks so much for checking out this episode. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, thanks. This is a great way to get a quick overview of what's happening on As the Story Grows and get a feel for the show. And if you missed an episode because you were unsure of the band, it's a good way to hear a little sample of the music and a little interview clip and go check them out. I hope you discover a new band. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our mailing list, our Patreon page, and our Discord server. We've had a few comments over the last few weeks. On chapter 623 with Eric from Heroway. Heroway commented, "This was so much fun. Thanks for having us. The pleasure was all mine. It was a wonderful chat with Eric. Make sure you check that podcast out." On chapter 494 with Joe from Lightworker, Brother Nicholas87 said, "Great band and great dude. Truly cares about people and what is going on in the world." I couldn't agree more. Joe was a friend of mine from Facebook groups around music, and it is so cool to see the success that Lightworker has had. And then on chapter 626 with Casey from Deadlands, Flash Gangster said, "Fun facts, the snake on Casey is Dexter and the snake on CJ is Dorothy." There are two snakes in the image used for that podcast episode, and I would not put a snake around my neck, but that is a cool fun fact. I hope it's true. All right, enjoy today's recap of all the interviews that aired in July. New album's called Edge of the Abyss. Where'd the title for the record come from?
Well, just would probably give you a lot more reason behind it, including how it links to the storyline. But one of the reason is also because that's just how we live constantly.
It's kind of like almost like walking on a tightrope.
Yeah.
You know, it's if you have to strike a very fine balance, and if you go like too far either way, you can fall off. Yeah. And it's kind of like us on like our journey and what we're doing as musicians and artists. It's kind of like, you know, you have to strike that balance, and it's, you know, it's about keeping that balance.
Yeah.
You know,
because we're always like on the edge of total collapse. Not collapse, but it's like, you know, we're constantly risking everything because, you know, we don't have, you know, there's no money, there's no anything. So and like even as recently as the last tour we did with Bloodywood across Europe, which was amazing. It was fantastic, best tour ever. But we went into it not knowing how we were going to afford it at all. Yeah. Like we went into it being like, we have to do it. We don't know how. We're going to figure it out, you know. And fortunately, the audience was amazing and you know, supported us with merch each night, and, you know, kind of made it work just like barely, just about. But again, it's that's the situation we live in constantly. It's like we have to do it. We have to just keep going.
We have to make things work regardless. And it's, it's just like, again, that tightrope thing.
And there's no safety net.
There's no safety net. That's the thing. It's like, so, don't fall into the abyss.
Don't know how to survive. This fucking struggling. Fitting out, mystery flying. I'm barely trying. My mind is full of dreams. It's empty plus my fears. Multiply my own life.
What has your experience in the metal scene been like? Sexism and racism exist everywhere, but it is different everywhere. Like, what has your experience as a Black woman been?
Well, honestly, I've been welcomed by the metal scene, I would say. Most of the time, people are curious, but really open. But of course, I had some weird reactions or comments sometimes. I remember once it was a man after our show just said that it find really impressive my prestation, but it was like wow, I thought you were the merge girl or someone's girlfriend maybe, and then you took the mic and you screamed, and I was shocked. And wow, for a woman and a Black one, it's so unusual, but also so cool, Yeah. And and I was like, okay, thank you, I guess, So so yeah, it's funny because I think it's really it was a nice comment that he wanted to do, and it was of course, but a bit awkward also, and I'm not sure that he realized that at the time, but yeah. It's always said with good intention, so I know that. But sometimes it feels like I have to prove myself more, because of what I look, and because some people at first glance, they don't think that I'm part of of this community, of the scene, At first glance, I'm just I don't know. Maybe I'm just with the band. I'm part of the team. But after when they see that I'm part of the band and I'm the singer, they are of course very, very surprised, really happy. To see that there's more and more diversity in the scene. So it's really a good point. But yeah, for me it's always an experience very special. And I think my teammates that they don't see really that they're just for them it's just normal. They don't see the color of my skin anymore, I think. So yeah, it's funny, but yeah, mostly it's always a good experience. Most people are super nice.
Last night I heard you sing aloud, invitation in a language I don't speak. Can't understand you, I swore it was a poor invitation, but real as it can be. It could be naturally apparent.
At what point in this early process of the band are you diagnosed with cancer?
Oh geez, like early.
Yeah.
Like maybe 6 months.
Oh geez.
In. The guys in the band are like, it's no secret that we're like a very like soft, emotionally intelligent, like, so yeah, we're just like pretty in touch with our feelings, as it were, and being able to talk about, you know, where we're coming from or how we're feeling. So in like short time, I became really, really close with the guys. And Eric is like, you know, I came home from like a very kind of unexpected diagnosis. I went in kind of to my doctor's appointment, like expecting to hear like, oh, you're fine. Like, you need to like modify like some of your lifestyle choices. And kind of just like very bluntly was told by like somebody walking down the hall, like they like shoulder tapped a doctor because they couldn't find mine. And it's like, hey, you need to tell this guy he has cancer. So there's like, hey, you got cancer. Do you have any questions? And I was like, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, okay, cool. Like, you should probably try to find a way to talk to your doctor next week. And I was like, what? And they're like,
that's soon enough.
Yeah. And they're like, well, it's 5 p.m. and everybody's gone home. So like, talk to you soon. And I was like, wow. Okie dokie. I guess I'll Google cancer stuff. And yeah, Eric, I think, was like the second person I told after my partner. Yeah, and the band was in many ways like a light through all of that. You know, I quickly got in for surgery, and they removed the tumor. I had testicular cancer. Dudes, go get your business checked out. I was lucky, and I caught this very, very early. And I'm able to talk about it because I'm persistent, and got like after 3 separate visits, finally got somebody to pay a bit more attention and was screened. But yeah, like the band was a light throughout all of this. You know, I had surgery, and my recovery process and healing was, you know, not fast. And I think like 6 months after surgery, I went in for chemo. The kind of cancer I had, they removed the tumor, but there was a chance that it was going to come back. 50% chance that it was going to come back at some point in my life. And with chemo, like preemptive chemo, it reduced that to like 3 to 5% or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
But like the trade-off is, if you don't need it, like chemo is still bad for you.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah. But if I needed it later in life, I was going to need like way more rounds of chemotherapy, and it was going to be potentially damaging to my cardiovascular system and my hearing. And yeah, like chemo was really hard, and the band was a thing that at times I needed to put on hold, and the guys needed to put on hold. And I know that was hard at times for them, you know, but they were by my side. They were, you know, my best friends through the whole thing. And I had this thing that I could work on, and like devote like the little energy and attention I had on, and like create something.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, that was really important.
How did you guys get connected with the Rising Empire?
I think it was so we had contact before with Robin there, and I think Lukas and Eugen met him at a concert, and they talked and they connected, and then we hit him up with our music idea and our plans that we wanted to start out with, and they let us wait a pretty long time before we got an answer from them. we mostly already forgot about it, and we're planning our release. I think at the end of probably end of summer last year, I remember we were just starting the band practice, and Eugen said, "Oh, Rising Empire called, and they want us." And then we started playing, and I didn't know it hit me.
Yeah, I remember he was calling it out mid-song. We had a lot of help from Timo, who's the singer of Our Mirage and Alleviate, if you know them.
Mm-hmm.
And he invited us to a concert, or more like he invited Eugen, because they connected online. And we just, like, I don't know, there was some kind of vibe there. We had a good time, and then sometime later he was like, "Hey, do you have some stuff to send over to Robin, and to Michi, which are the A&Rs?"
Mm-hmm.
And then we just did it. And then, like Max said, we waited a few weeks, then started to release by ourselves because we just wanted to put our stuff out. And then they just hit us up. Hey, guys, let's have a talk.
Get started.
How it got started? Well, playing in bands from there on didn't really stop. Just had tons of little projects. Once I had a few serious bands, where we were actually trying to push, record, and become better musicians, etc. I had tons of different bands, but none of them were, I would say, extreme music. Mm-hmm. No vocals that you can't understand or anything. I always had that background, but it wasn't until 2018 where I was working at this coffee shop, and one of my other band's drummers came into the shop, and me and my manager, which is the singer of Scalp, we were joking before he walked into the cafe and just said, "Hey, it would be really funny if we put together a band for Halloween. It would be like a joke. Like, we don't need to take it serious, but we could just write a bunch of songs. We don't even need lyrics. We could just scream. It'd be like death metal or power violence or whatever. Let's just riff around." And then, so we're all joking about it. And then, my drummer comes in, is just immediately down. And it was funny because me and Cole Rogers, we always had a different take on extreme music. Like, he loved black metal and like war metal and a few different things that I wasn't, super dialed in on, whereas I came from more like a hardcore power violence background.
Yeah.
So we would talk about music, but we never had a complete dialogue. But it wasn't until we started goofing around and playing music where we really started, taking a closer look at each other's interests.
Yeah.
So we talked about doing a house show, and that house show ended up turning into a show at our local, the worst dive bar. We promoted it. We wore ski masks and threw blood on ourselves, took pictures, and it became like this, I don't know, it became a bigger thing where all our friends were actually stoked, like, to come see us do something stupid. Meanwhile, we've had all these actual bands that people are like, I'll see if I can make it, whatever. We put on some fucking stupid Halloween band that's playing at a dive bar, and people go, "Oh, fuck yeah, I'm there." So the show happened, and we just made it very, very theatrical. We played like a scary sample. We went to the parking lot. We threw blood on each other, put on our ski masks, took our shirts off, and then we had like a grand entrance onto the stage. We started, and like this place was packed, and everyone went crazy. Nice. But the most significant thing that came from that was that we learned that Cole Rogers was an amazing frontman. The performance that he did, he's actually very quiet. He's very reserved. He's very calm. So no one would have expected that kind of performance from him. I mean, he was rolling on the ground, throwing people around. It was really exciting to see. And kind of after that, we decided, we should start a real band. I mean, we had people telling us like, we get it. It's a joke, but you guys should do a band. Yeah. And so we did, and it kind of just evolved from there. We did our demo, which, again, wasn't taken too seriously. It was just more so supposed to be like a hard punk power violence record. We were influenced a lot more by like Cell Rot and World Peace and a few different, power violence bands. So we wrote a quick demo. It was, I think, 8 songs. Yeah. And, we didn't really think much of it. It was just, let's just write it. Let's take this, maybe not silly, but taken less serious approach to this band, and just put stuff out. And, we were happy with what we came up with. We knew we wasn't fully actualized or anything, but we eventually, once that came out, we decided like, hey, let's actually write a record. Let's go get it recorded by the right person. And now I get it. We did a demo. Let's put a serious band together. Yeah. So everyone was down, and we, again, kind of took a similar approach, but took it a lot, definitely more serious from there. But our writing was happening so quickly. We wrote our first record, Domestic Extremity, very quick. And it all came from just, quote, throwing paint at the wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah. However they say it. Yeah. But we were excited with what we came up with. We didn't think about it too much. It was just more so, structure, lyrics, ideas, themes, and it got wrapped up together really quickly. I sent a voice memo. I mean, I've always used voice memos to demo anything that I'm writing for music, and I still do. We sent a voice memo of the last track on that record called Depleted Mass over to Taylor Young. And he said, yeah, I don't know about your last stuff, but this song's cool. Yeah, let's like set a date. So, we, and then from there, we had a lot more opportunities. We started taking each part of our band a bit more serious, and I've always pushed it to be something bigger, or at least to be a product of it, the maximum of what we could do.